Okay, everyone, settle down and get comfy. Tonight, we have a story about a man named Alex. Now, Alex's life was what you might call the same every day. Each morning, his alarm clock would go beep, beep, beep at 7 o'clock. He'd wake up and do the exact same things: brush his teeth, drink his instant coffee, and eat the same boring sandwich. Then he'd go on the bus with lots of other people to his office. It was a gray office, and every day felt just like the day before. His desk wasn't very exciting, just a computer screen with numbers, emails popping up, and those ding sounds of notifications. He'd go to meetings that felt long and a bit tiring. At the end of the day, he'd sit in front of the TV, but he wasn't really watching. He was just there. His nights were quiet, with no dreams that he could remember, and the mornings just felt empty. Time moved on, but Alex felt like he was standing still. Sometimes he would quietly ask himself, "Is this all there is?" But then the next morning's alarm would just start the same day all over again. Then, one Tuesday night, Alex was feeling a bit bored. He was looking at things online, not really paying much attention, when he saw a small advertisement. It said, "Unlock Creative Thinking. Free course by memory genius Leon Vega." Usually, Alex would just keep scrolling, but the words memory genius and free made him stop for a moment. Leon Vega, he thought he remembered that name. This was a man who could remember whole books and decks of playing cards. And he said that being creative and having a good memory were like best friends. Alex thought, why not? The worst that can happen is I spend a boring evening. So he clicked on the ad. The website was simple, but it made Alex curious. It didn't make big, flashy promises. It just had ideas. The course said it could help you think in new, creative ways by doing some things you wouldn't expect. So Alex clicked sign up. Exercise 1. Tell a story from a picture. Then, a black and white picture showed up on his screen. It was a picture of a man standing all by himself at the edge of a cliff. He was holding a small suitcase, but he wasn't looking at the sea or the view. He was looking down at the suitcase. Alex just looked at the picture. It felt a little bit familiar, like he had seen something like it before, not outside in the real world, but inside his own mind. Then a voice started to play. It was Leon Vega. He said, "What's the story?" Not the story of the photo, but the story of the person who is looking at it. And then Leon said something else. "Don't wait for the perfect idea. Just start. Your mind needs to move to find what it means." So, Alex took a deep breath and started to type on his keyboard. The suitcase wasn't heavy because of the things inside it. It was heavy because the man had never opened it. He took it with him everywhere, to work meetings when he ate dinner and on weekends when he was alone. Inside that suitcase were all the things he had never said out loud. Ideas that he didn't try. Dreams that he didn't try to make real. He always thought that someone else would notice him. Someone would ask, "Hey, what's in that suitcase?" But nobody ever did, and he never opened it himself. Today he was standing at the edge of the cliff, not to jump off, but to ask himself a question. What if I stop waiting for other people to see me, and I choose to see myself instead? Alex stopped typing. For a second, he forgot where he was. He had just written about a stranger, but somehow it felt like he had been writing about his own life. He had been waiting too, waiting for someone to give him permission, waiting for someone to push him, waiting for someone to say, "Hey, you are more than this." But maybe the only person who needed to say that was Alex himself. He just sat there quietly for a little while. No music playing, no phone in his hand. Just that feeling, quiet and real. And for the first time in a long time, he didn't feel like just a copy of yesterday. Exercise 2. Mix the words of famous people. Then Leon said, "Take quotes from people you admire. Cut them up. Mix them together. Make them new. Make them your own." At first, Alex thought this was kind of funny. He tried one. Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "God is dead." Alex typed, "God is dead. but he's still on my friends list. Then he tried another. Ludwig van Beethoven said, "Where there is music, words become meaningless." Alex typed, "Where there is music, words become meaningless, especially in opera." He laughed a little. It felt playful, a bit like being rebellious, which was kind of how Alex felt inside. But then something changed. Alex became curious. What if he didn't just mix the words, but what the words meant? What if he let the words build on each other and grow into something bigger? That's when the real experiment started. He tried mixing a quote from Albert Einstein, "Imagination is more important than knowledge," with one from Mevlana Jalaluddin Rumi, "Be silent, let the universe speak." He put them together like this: "Imagination is more important than knowledge. So be silent, let the universe speak and inspire you." Then he mixed Pythagoras' idea that numbers are the language of the universe with Epictetus' idea that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. He wrote, "Numbers are the language of the universe, and your response to every event is the next sentence you write in this language." He kept going, mixing Leonardo da Vinci with Beethoven and Jesus with Mozart. Each time, these combinations made Alex think in new ways. He wasn't just playing with words. He was teaching his brain to see things from a different angle. Exercise 3. Listen to nature. Leon's next task was go outside, look around, learn. So, early one Saturday, Alex went to a quiet park. At first, he felt a little silly just walking around and looking at things. Then, he saw a fox walk across the path. The fox looked at him for a second and then disappeared into the trees. Alex whispered to himself, "Be clever like the fox. Find new ways out." Later, he saw some grass bending in the strong wind, but it didn't break. He wrote in his notebook, "Bend. Don't snap. Be like grass." Then he saw a tiny and carrying a piece of food that looked 10 times bigger than itself. "Small effort, big result," he wrote. Alex filled his notebook with these kinds of ideas, these metaphors. He even started to draw, even though he wasn't very good at it. But it didn't matter. He felt awake, like the world was whispering secrets, and he was finally starting to listen. Transformation part. As the days went by, Alex started to change. He started taking different ways to get to work. He talked more in meetings. When there was a problem, he wouldn't just use logic to solve it. He'd think of those metaphors like, what would the fox do in this situation? He even started asking himself strange questions. If I were a fox, how would I get out of this problem? Out of this maze? Or if I were from Mars, how would I solve this? Then, one day, while he was looking at job websites during his lunch break, Alex stopped at one job listing. It said, "Junior Content Strategist. We're looking for someone who sees connections others don't." It was for a company that made educational games for museums and science centers. Alex thought for a moment. Then, instead of writing a normal cover letter, he sent them a one-page paper with the title, "If a Fox Wrote Museum Labels." Can you imagine? It had a short, funny talk between a confused squirrel and a sarcastic old fossil, 3 of those mixed-up quotes he had made, and a little drawing of a compass with the word instinct next to it. He added a small note. "I wasn't sure what you meant by seeing connections, so I tried to follow a few. I hope that's okay." The next day, the company actually replied. They said, "We don't understand how your brain works, but we like it. Can we talk?" On his way to the interview, Alex felt a bit nervous, so he stopped at a bookstore to try and relax. And that's where he saw her, Amelia. She was an old friend from his university days. They hadn't spoken in years. She was looking at a book about design. "Alex." "Amelia." They both laughed and started talking, catching up on what had happened in their lives. They even shared a cup of coffee. And guess what? Amelia had helped start the very company that Alex was going to interview with. "You were always the dreamer," she told him. "Always drawing your ideas in the margins of your notebooks. Do you remember your doodles of time machines?" Alex smiled. Yes, he remembered. Then Amelia leaned in and said, "We need dreamers again. Come to our brainstorm next week. No pressure. Just bring your unique way of thinking. The real beginning." So, at the brainstorm meeting, Alex didn't hold back. He showed everyone his sketches, told them his metaphors, and shared his stories. He talked about grass that bends, how a fox thinks, and those funny combinations of quotes from Beethoven and Einstein. The team just looked at him for a moment. Then they started to clap. And just a week later, they offered Alex the job. They said, "We want you not because you think differently, but because you think differently." And Alex, of course, said yes. Now, Alex designs these amazing experiences that make people feel all sorts of things. They cry, they laugh, they wonder. He creates rooms full of mystery, hallways that sound like they're singing, and stories that feel like they're really happening around you. He wakes up feeling excited every day. His work now has meaning. And sometimes, late at night, he still likes to mix those quotes. He might write something like, "Music is the silence God used to build the universe." Or, "Show yourself as you truly are," or "Dance with a fox." He would just laugh and keep writing. Because now Alex knew something important. Being creative isn't like magic. It's like a door, and all you have to do is knock.